The Academy of Pax Stellar was a peaceful place, a school built on a space station hovering between 5 influential species. It was humanity's first real attempt to be part of the larger galactic community. Aliens enrolled their youth here to study diplomacy, advanced science and cooperation, things Deathworlders were assumed to struggle with. Deathworlders, like humans, to most species, Earth was a cursed place. Too many predators, too many diseases, too much gravity crushing your bones, too much oxygen catching forests on fire. The animals had venom, the plants had toxins. Even the weather tried to kill you. So when humans appeared and actually thrived there, the galaxy took notice. Some were curious. Some were terrified. Mira Cade knew all of that far too well. She sat alone near the back of the classroom, a habit she'd developed since arriving at Pax Stellar Academy. Her posture relaxed, one boot over her knee, black hair tied up with a clip that doubled as a pressure tool. Her uniform jacket draped open slightly, regulation, but only barely. Her eyes tracked everything. Not nervously, but like a predator lounging before it decided if it cared to move. The other students whispered about her constantly. That human girl, she comes from Earth. Deathworld species. They say she fought a pack of something called wolves once. Most stories were exaggerated. Some weren't. Mira ignored them all. The instructor, a feathered Ixalan professor named Hramet, tried his best to continue the lesson. Diplomacy, he chirped, adjusting his holographic slides, is about finding peaceful resolution before. The classroom door hissed open with a sharp crash. A tall, scaled Varan youth stormed inside, Crix, the troublemaker, a bully who tormented half the school with his size and his powerful tail, and his blades. 2 of his friends followed him in, arms crossed, sneering. Crix's orange eyes narrowed at the professor. "You should have failed me, Featherbag," he snarled, instead of recommending disciplinary training. Hramet froze. "Crix, this is a learning environment." Crix's long-scaled finger pointed directly at him. "You humiliated me." Mira watched the situation unfold with the calm detachment of someone selecting a movie. She didn't move. She didn't tense. She simply observed. Crix pushed past desks and terrified students scattered. "Everyone out," he roared. "Class dismissed." Many of the alien students scrambled for the exits, their soft homeworld reflexes dominated by panic. A few froze, too scared to move. Mira didn't budge. The professor stepped back. "Crix." The Varan pulled out a curved spike blade. Traditional metal, gleaming sharp. "This is how we settle disrespect." He advanced. Hramet trembled, feathers puffing defensively. "Violence will only—" Crix slashed the air, inches from the professor's beak. "Shut up." That was when Crix finally noticed Mira, still seated, chin resting on her hand, amused. "What are you grinning at, monkey?" he snarled. Mira stretched her neck calmly. "Just watching a toddler throw a tantrum." Gasps rippled across the room. Even Crix froze. "Say that again," he hissed. She stood, unhurried, a lazy feline rising from a nap. "I said," she repeated, "you're a toddler." "And you're embarrassing yourself." The Varan's blade twitched with fury. "You think you can talk to me like that, human?" Mira shrugged. "I think I just did." Crix lunged, but Mira wasn't there. To most species, humans moved incredibly fast for their size. Their dense muscles and efficient oxygen use made them dangerously quick. Mira sidestepped with lethal grace. Crix stumbled past where she'd been, snarling, "You want to die so badly?" His goons nervously stepped back. None of them wanted to accidentally get between a Deathworlder and violence. Mira tilted her head. "You brought a knife to class." "I didn't," Crix laughed sharply. "Then you'll lose," she smiled. "A real one this time. Sharp." "Oh, Crix, humans always bring weapons." He charged again, blade sweeping in a deadly arc. Mira dropped low, one hand bracing on the floor. Her boot shot upward, striking his wrist with a crack. The blade clattered across the floor. Crix's scream cut through the room. Mira rolled smoothly back to her feet, unarmed but utterly confident. "That was your first mistake," she said. He swung his tail now, a long muscular whip capable of knocking down small trees. Mira leaned back. The tail whooshed past her face. "That was your second," Crix roared, grabbing at her with his uninjured, clawed hand. She caught his forearm, twisted, momentum doing the rest. The Varan slammed onto his back with a thud that rattled desks. And that, Mira finished, boot planted on his chest, was your last. Silence swallowed the classroom. Crix wheezed, pinned by someone barely half his weight. His goons took a step forward, then froze when Mira's eyes flicked toward them. Something primal in their instincts screamed, "Predator!" They backed away. Mira leaned down slightly. Here's a lesson. In human schools, when someone pulls a weapon, she pressed harder on his sternum. He choked. We pull bigger ones. Crix whimpered, fear replacing arrogance. And if you threaten a teacher, she grabbed his discarded spike blade. Class ends early. She held the weapon up and smiled. The kind of smile no pacifist species should ever witness. Rummet stared, speechless. Crix closed his eyes. He clearly expected the killing blow. Instead, Mira flipped the knife in her hand and slammed it point down into the floor right beside his throat, deep enough the metal vibrated. Class jumped. Then she stepped away, wiping dust from her hands. Lesson over. Security officers arrived moments later. Huge armored drones that buzzed angrily, ordering everyone back. Crix was dragged away to medical detention, humiliated and crying. Rummet approached Mira carefully. Thank you, but... His feathers ruffled awkwardly. Such aggressive reaction. Mira shrugged. He attacked you. I stopped him. Rummet studied her eyes. Saw no malice there. Only clarity. Human culture is different, he whispered. You invited humans to school, she replied. We didn't change. The galaxy just finally noticed. Later, Principal's office, Principal Durell. A six-eyed Selexian tapped her desk anxiously. Mira Cade, she began softly. You disabled a fellow student. Mira sat straight. Respectful, yet unwavering. He was going to stab the professor, she said. What was I supposed to do? Politely wait for him to finish? That is not what I mean. Durell flustered. You handled it so decisively and so efficiently. Mira raised a brow. You mean violently? Durell lowered her gaze. We know Earth raises survivors. You evolve strength through chaos. But other species do not use conflict as automatic instinct. Mira exhaled. She'd heard this speech before. Then maybe you should teach your students not to attempt murder in classrooms, she said. We respond to danger. He started it. Durell hesitated, realizing the human was right. The professor will file a report. She finally said, softer. This will go to the Galactic Board. Mira nodded. Let them decide. I'll defend myself again if I have to. There was a moment of silence. Durell sighed. Classes will resume tomorrow. Mira stood. Good. I like learning. She turned to leave, but paused. You know, she added quietly, humans prefer peace too. But peace is only peace if you protect it. Durell blinked, unsure how to respond. Mira walked out. Dormitory. Night she sat in her room. Lights dimmed. Earth music playing softly through her tablet. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. A memory from home. You don't start fights, Mira, but if someone forces one on you, make sure you finish it. Tonight she'd followed that lesson well, but she didn't smile about it. She didn't like hurting people. She just couldn't tolerate predators preying on the weak, even if those predators were 6-foot-tall lizard boys. A soft knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. She opened it. A trembling Selexian girl stood there, forearms clutching books. Are you the human? The girl asked. Mira nodded. The Selexian bowed deeply. To thank you. Crix has made my life miserable. For months. You stopped him. Mira softened a little. He won't bother you again. More students peeked from the hallway. Timid aliens whose lives had been negatively touched by Crix and his gang. Gratitude filled their expressions. One by one they whispered, Thank you. Mira felt an unfamiliar warmth in her chest. Maybe she did belong here. Maybe humans weren't feared intruders. Maybe they could be allies, protectors, friends. Next day, returned to class, Shremet resumed his lecture, voice steadier than expected. Diplomacy, he chirped, sometimes requires courage. Sometimes it requires someone willing to stand between danger and the innocent. His eyes briefly flicked toward Mira. With respect, the class looked at her differently today. Not a monster, a guardian. Mira rested back in her chair again. Boot up. Relaxed, same posture as yesterday. Except now, students gravitated closer. One even dared to sit near her. She allowed a tiny smile. Crix wasn't in school today. Obviously, peace returned, but this peace was different. It was the kind of peace that comes after the wolf walks the fence line, and everyone knows the wolf is watching. Epilogue, Galactic Board hearing. We have reviewed the footage, the Selexian judge announced. The human acted with restraint, protecting both teacher and students. We recommend a commendation. Mira tried not to blink in surprise. Another judge added, it is clear that humans are a valuable addition to galactic society. Their skills may prove essential. Mira bowed her head. Thank you. As she walked out of the hearing chamber, a message arrived on her wrist pad. From, Dad saw the news. Proud of you. Never start the fight, but always finish it. Mira grinned. Some lessons, she thought, are universal, especially for Deathworlders. Word spread fast across Pax Stellar Academy. The human girl didn't just fight back. She won, effortlessly. Rumors bloomed like wildfire through the station's hallways. She pinned a Varen with no weapon, broke his wrist with a flick, stabbed the blade into the floor next to his throat. Other species didn't gossip loudly. They feared being noticed. But Mira heard the whispers anyway. Even fear has a volume. She didn't relish it. Her goal wasn't to thrive through intimidation. She wanted to belong. She wanted peace. But peace rarely lasted long for humans. New threat surface, the bee. Following week, Mira found the hallway eerily silent as she walked. Students parted before her, not in friendly respect, but cautious distance. At the far end of the atrium, armored station guards stood alert, scanning every face. Mira frowned. Something was wrong. She spotted her dorm neighbor, a thin, violet-skinned Althari boy, and waved him over. What's going on? He swallowed nervously. They're here. The Varen clan. Mira went still. Family of that idiot from class? The boy nodded quickly. His father is a Varen war chief. They're demanding you face formal combat judgment. They say Crix claims you nearly killed him. Mira scoffed. He almost killed someone. I just stopped him. Deathworld logic, the boy whispered. Others don't understand that. Mira let out a slow breath. Right. She was back to being the alien. Thanks, she said. The boy scampered away. Mira flexed her fingers once. No shaking, no fear, just readiness. Confrontation at the atrium. Loud metallic clank echoed through the academy. The massive entrance doors slid open, and a group strode inside. Tall, armored, scale patterns like obsidian knives, the Varen war party. At the front of them, a massive warrior draped in ceremonial metal plates. His eyes burned orange like burning coals. He was built like a walking fortress, War Chief Vrax. He smelled of war and judgment. Mira Cade, he boomed, voice vibrating the air. You attacked my son. Mira didn't flinch. Your son brought a knife to class. Self-defense is not attack. Vrax growled back. The station guard stepped in, but Vrax raised a fist, and they hesitated. Varens were a major military power. Any conflict with them could trigger political crisis. From it, her professor rushed forward. War Chief, she saved lives. Silence, bird, Vrax snarled. This is a matter of honor. His glare pinned Mira like a spear. You will accept formal combat judgment. Today. Mira measured her breath carefully. I'm a student, she replied. Not a soldier. You are human, Vrax shot back. You were born a soldier. Students gasped. Mira's jaw tightened. If I refuse? Vrax stepped closer, towering over her. Then we will remove you from this academy and send Earth a message about its place in the galaxy. Mira clenched her fists. Threaten her? Fine, threaten her planet? Big mistake. She locked eyes with the war chief, not challenging with arrogance, but refusing to bow. Fine, she said. I'll fight your judgment. Vrax gave a toothy carnivore smile. Good, he said. Try to live long enough to learn from this. The combat arena. The arena beneath the station wasn't meant for student activities, but for interspecies conflict training and execution if diplomacy failed. Thousands of seats. Bright lights. Metal flooring bearing scars of real battles. Mira stepped into the center wearing a simple training uniform. No armor. No weapons. A hum of voices filled the stands, students and staff, all watching. Above the arena, a giant holographic display projected the rules. Combat judgment. Opponent must yield or be incapacitated. Death is discouraged. The word discouraged did not comfort anyone. Vrax stood across from her. Massive, armed with a wicked ceremonial spear. Crix lurked behind him, arm in a cast, smirking with cruel satisfaction. Ramet fluttered in the viewing box, feathers puffed in panic. Mira rolled her shoulders, her father's voice whispered in memory. Violence is last resort. If they force it, end it on your terms. Vrax slammed his spear butt to the ground. Prepare, he growled. The arena siren blared. Fight the battle begins, Vrax charged, shockingly fast for his size. The spear stabbed forward like lightning. Mira dove aside. The blade scraped her ribs. A sting, but not deep. She scrambled up, breathing controlled. He stalked her, thudding footfalls like mini-quakes. You humiliated my blood, he snarled. I will humble your species. Mira circled him, analyzing movement, weight shifts. You can try, she said quietly. Vrax thrust again. She grabbed the shaft, using his force to pivot around him. Her boot slammed his knee joint. He hissed, pain and... Surprise, she aims for joints. A commentator student whispered from the stands. Humans are hunters. Another shivered. Vrax swung a backhand swipe, claws raked across her forearm. Blood spattered. Mira gritted her teeth. Pain was familiar. Pain was fuel. She ducked under his tail sweeps, slid behind him, jabbed fingers into a gap in his armor plates. He roared. He turned too. Slow. Mira was already moving. A leap. Twist. Her boot crashed into his jaw, snapping his head. Sideways. Even the guards flinched. But Vrax wasn't done. Not close. He slammed the spear downward, creating a shockwave through the reinforced flooring. Mira lost balance. He seized the chance. A giant claw wrapped around her torso, lifting, crushing, lungs compressed, ribs strained. His breath was hot and vile against her ear. You are alone, human, he rumbled. The galaxy fears your kind, and for good reason. Mira spat blood, wheezing, but smiling. Every species fears humans, until they meet one. She drove both thumbs into his eyes. The war chief bellowed, dropping her instantly. Mira hit the ground and rolled, gasping for precious oxygen. Her ribs screamed. Her vision blurred, but she stood, always stand. The turning point. Vrax staggered, clutching his eyes, then ripped his spear free from the ground, positioning for a killing thrust. Crix grinned. The crowd murmured in horror. Dad! Finish her! She's just a soft little... A sharp shout cut through the arena. Come on, Mira. Don't quit. The Selexian girl from the dorm stood, trembling but defiant. Another voice followed. You fight for us. Then more. End this, Deathworlder. You protected us, and now we're with you. Make him yield. The entire student body was cheering. For her, humans were never truly alone. Mira straightened, adrenaline burning away pain. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She faced Vrax, whose good eye locked on her with new emotion. Respect? Fear? Both, he snarled. Enough! Mira sprinted. She dodged the spear by a hair. She leaped onto the shaft, using its length as a ramp. Momentum carried her upward. She wrapped her legs around his neck, rolled her body weight, and threw him off balance. The crowd gasped. The giant war chief slammed onto his back, the air exploding from his lungs. Before he recovered, Mira knelt on his chest. Fist pulled back. Her voice boomed across the arena. Yield! Vrax stared up. Stunned. Breathless. She slammed her fist again, into his armored collar. Metal cracked. Yield. Students. Leaned forward. Breath held. Vrax looked around, saw thousands of alien eyes watching his possible defeat at the hands of a small human girl. Mira raised her fist for the finishing strike. Vrax's claws lifted tremblingly. He growled, voice strangled by humiliation. Yield. Victory. The arena erupted in deafening applause and alien screeches of celebration. Mira stood slowly, swaying slightly. Her knees threatened to give out, but she remained upright. Victory demanded posture, The announcer's voice blared. Combat judgment complete. Human student Mira Cade is declared the victor. Ramat nearly fainted in relief. Crick stood frozen, disbelief morphing into horror. His father defeated by a human. Mira turned to him, wiping blood from her chin. See? She said calmly. Class is still in session. Cricks ran. Every student burst into laughter, tension melting instantly. War Chief's declaration Vrax struggled to his feet, armor dented, pride shattered. But instead of anger, he extended his arm, a warrior's salute. You are a true Deathworlder, he said. And today, you are Varen friend, Mira blinked. That was compliment from a war chief, he continued. We will not threaten your academy again. Anyone who harms you, harms us. Mira breathed slowly, grateful. Thank you, she said simply. In this moment, she realized something profound. Humans weren't feared monsters. They were respected monsters. Later, one last message. Mira returned to her dorm, exhausted and patched up by medical bots. Althari, Selexian, and Ixalan students lined the hall, cheering and clapping as she passed. She wasn't the weird outsider anymore. She was the defender of the academy. Her wristpad buzzed. From Dad News broadcast again. Whole world watching. I knew you'd finish it. Mira smiled, a soft human smile. Not a predator's smile. She typed back, to Dad, don't worry. I only fight when I have to. But when I do, humans finish it. She lay back on her bed, staring at the stars outside the porthole. Earth was far away, dangerous, beautiful, and Mira carried a piece of that wild planet wherever she walked. The galaxy would learn, humans don't seek war, but they will end it.